Alright guys, we're going to talk cameras today. What I'm recording with is a GoPro Hero 4 Black, just in case you wondered what camera I was using. Then we're going to talk about the gun ones, which as we go through I'll put little bits of footage of gameplays on so you can sort of see the different comparisons. This technically is like my selfie cam, so the one that's aiming back at me. It's a Runcam 2, it's the orange, but you can see that I've gone and scratched it up a little bit and then just given it a quick spray over with black just to help blend it in a little bit or not stand out quite as much. It's a standard lens with it, nothing fantastic difference I've done with this apart from a lens cover, which I'll talk about in a minute. Next one is going to be the head cam, the one I wear on my hat. Runcam 2 again, but this has got the black body to it. Again, bit of lens protection on the front, and on top here is a Gorilla Tape camouflage, but this one hasn't got such a shine to it as what the other ones have. So it just helps it to blend in a little bit more. But again, standard lens on it, which both of these, that's 2.8, so it's a wide angled lens. I think it's about 120 degrees angle on those. Next one we've got is the gun or scope cam. Runcam again, Runcam 2, sorry. Scratched it up a little bit of spray over it just to help make it blend in a little. But I've changed the lens in this one from the 2.8 to a 16mm, just so it brings everything in a little bit closer, so you have a little bit of a narrower field of view, but everything comes in closer to you for it. And then the next one that I haven't used yet but will be using soon, same again, Runcam 2. You can see the difference on the front where I've changed the lens. This one has got a 25mm lens on it, so it's going to bring everything in a lot closer than the normal scope cam that I use on the assault rifle. This one's going to be for a sniper rifle. Same thing again, bit of the Gorilla Tape on top just to help blend it in a little bit more, and then the lens protector. For lens protector, what I've got for that is 4mm perspex, so I've actually cut out what I want and then rounded it all off, glued it on, made sure it's all nice and strong, bit of tape over it just to tidy it up a little bit. But then if a BB does go and hit, less likely to go and break the lens and hopefully only scratch the perspex, so then I can polish that back up again. Now if this was something that you was thinking about doing yourself at some point on, you wanted to have cameras like this and change the lenses, there is videos out there that you can go and have a look at. What we'll do is we'll pull one of these apart and I'll show you roughly on what I've done on changing these. Got a screw there, one in that hole, one in that hole, one in that hole, and one in that hole. So that's going to be your first little cover. You've got to make sure you take that off because that screws those two parts together. So when you go and pull it apart, that's all going to be wanting to shift about. So it's something that you have to take off. And this back plate as well, you've got to make sure you take that off. So just pull that over. And when you just go and start cracking this apart, you just got to be a little bit careful, because what you'll have is you've got the board, which I'll show you in a minute, that will be on the top, but then you've also got the camera. Now that's being held in place, unfortunately, by the bottom and the top. So sometimes when you start pulling these apart, the camera or the lens will want to stay on the bottom, whilst all the circuitry wants to stay on the top. So you just got to be a little bit careful when you're pulling it apart, because you want the camera or the lens to go up with the top. Like that. Here you can see what I mean. That's literally held on there with one of those little ribbons that they call them. So you don't want to be yanking that up and pulling that out and then all things go wrong. And what you see here is a little bit of glue. Now you go on to YouTube and have a look around and you'll see people saying about different ways on how to get that glue off. One of the ways I saw was you use a hot air gun, if you haven't got that, a hairdryer, but put it on hot, and then you just keep on heating and heating that, and that'll soften that up, and then you take it off. Another one that I see where this guy just got a pair of pliers, gripped the lens, gripped the body, and then just twisted it until it broke away, which is okay up to the point of if you go and break this, then you've just gone and mucked the whole thing up. What I done was just got a little knife and then just kept on cutting the glue down, cut the glue up, depending on how much they've put on, you may get it coming over this bit as well, but then also cutting in, and you just keep on picking away at it, and eventually you'll get to the point of that you'll be right down to the threads, all the body, and then you'll be able to do it with your thumb and finger and then just twist it open. You'll pull this out a little bit more. So you can, if you want to, when you're under here, if you get hold of that and flick that up, that will allow that tape to release, and then you can just take the whole unit off like that, and that will allow that to slide out. So now you'll be able to get hold of it a little bit better, and you won't have to worry about buggering this up. That's all you got to do. You just take that bit of glue off, and actually put a bit of glue on this side as well. So take that glue off, and then be careful with this, because this isn't majorly strong, it's quite brittle, and then you just get that, twist it open, away you go. When it comes down to, if you do go and do something like this, because you're going to change your lens into something a little bit narrower, bring everything in a little bit closer to you. With the Runcams, they do come, or as long as you've got a smartphone or even a computer, you can link it up to. So once you've done all of that, you've got to refocus that lens. So you open up the app for it, and then you wind it in to focus it up, wind it in and out to focus it up, get it all focused back in again. Then what I done was recorded a little bit of footage. So once I thought I got it to the best focus point I could get, I marked on the body and on the lens just a little straight line, record a little bit of footage, put it onto your computer, so then you can actually look at it more detail, then record. But as you're recording, talk to the camera basically, to help you figure out what you're doing, and then turn it quarter of a turn anti-clockwise. But you say that you're doing that as you're recording it, so then at least you know what you've done. Do a little bit of a recording, then put it back to center a quarter of a turn anti-clockwise, depending on which way you're actually looking at the body, this way or this way, and then record again and say what you've done. Then go back and have a look at the footage, see if it has got any better when you've turned it one way or the other way. If it has, go back and then only do an eighth of a turn, and then see if the footage is any better. And then that way, it takes a little bit of time to do it, but that way you'll get the best focus point to your camera. Also, when you're doing that, do it out to the range that you're planning on it being focused. Now, it's like with my gun cam or scope cam for me assault rifle, I focus that in for 40 meters, but that's how you'll do it, and sort of so you can get it all focused in. Obviously, if it's too much hassle for you and you've got the money, then just go and buy yourself the cameras that will be a case of that you can just slap them straight on and be done with it. And once you've got it all done and it is all fixed in, an idea is to put have your mark, undo it again, put a little bit of PTFE tape or plumber's tape round the thread, and then screw it back in. That will make it a little bit stiffer for when you screw it in, but it'll hold the lens in place. Then if you do go and muck up for whatever reason, or you have to pull it apart to take this off, you ain't got to take the glue back off because you haven't re-glued it, but it will undo. But on vibrations of you using the gun or it being dropped or anything like that, won't undo it because the PTFE tape will be strong enough to stop it from undoing. So that's about it for this. There's not much else really to do with these. If you do want to ask anything about what I've done, how I've done it, if you can't find the answers that you're looking for, then put a message in and I'll see if I can help you out. Remember, when you're doing these back up, you don't need to do them majorly tight, just do a little tweak on it, it'll be fine. If they do come a little bit loose, then you can tighten them back up again. And like I keep on saying in my videos as well, is when you're doing things like this with plastic, don't overdo it and do the click. So listen to the click. There you go. Now wind it in. Right, we'll do it on this one as well. So you're undoing it, listen for the click, now do it up. And what that's done is that will make sure that that has gone back down the original thread of what it came out of, so you ain't going to bugger that thread up. And then it'll be a case of just sticking your protective cover back over. Same thing again. Don't overdo it. They're only little screws. They're not made to be done up, doing up the head on the car. Just a little tweak. You can feel that the tension just gets there, and then just give it the tiniest little turn. And it's one of the good things about the Runcams that I like, is you can buy these bodies separately. So if you do go and get a BB, go and smash the hell out of it, or you've gone and whacked it against a tree or something, and you go and break it, as long as all your stuff inside's still working, all you do is you buy a new body, take it apart, put all your stuff back into your new body, and away you go again. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hope that's a little bit informative to you and maybe help you out on something or several things. Got any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. If anything that you're interested in on my equipment or what I've done on other things, because you're interested in, well, how did he do that, let us know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.